play golf at all or no?
Yeah, I used to. So like I would play with my pops, going out there just like 9 holes sort of thing. I think I like driving the golf course, the golf cart more, and driving it off the trail a little bit.
Just fucking four-wheeling it?
Yeah, but I'd have fun on the driving range. I'm pretty good at just hitting it pretty straight, but once I get out there, the technical short game, that's not my thing.
I mean, just like any sport, it's fun to be able to go out and say throw a ball or hit a bat or just go out and do like the basic fundamentals of the sport.
Right.
But like when you go out and like now you gotta focus in on all these little like. It's almost like how we were talking about racing, like just riding motocross
yeah.
too. Like it's one thing to ride and be out there like just like riding for fun, but like when you are in a race environment, you probably are the things that you're thinking about have you in a different mindset to where it can be enjoyable, but at the same time it can take you out of like it make you more stressful, like thinking about like fuck, like am I hitting this jump like fast enough, like.
Oh, 100%. And I totally hear what you're saying with how that relates to so many things, dude, especially with motocross riding and other sports, and you start overthinking it, and then I start to get outside of my head, especially with dirt bike riding when you get on the track, and then I just like got to relax and just kind of just do my thing, and just have fun with it. Once I start to just have fun with it and like not put too much pressure, not go my like hardest, my fastest, dude, that's when I have the best time, and that's when I ride the best too.
How many times? I mean,
same thing with business, same thing like with anything with my family. It's like, dude, there's always those stresses and fears and things like that, and I'm always trying to just battle through that one.
And it's especially hard to gauge, like you're saying with motocross, to get that like to when you're trying to like hit a double or something, like your first time on a new track or any kind of just whatever the case may be, you're out just riding on a trail, to get the speed and get the right like find the right line, the right feel for it is definitely a nerve-wracking like feeling on the very first try, especially when you've never done it before. I mean, to where if you go to a track like Paula or somewhere that you've been multiple times,
and you
at least know somewhat of the right speed. Like you might mishit it or something, or to where you end up. I mean, obviously, when you come up short,
you're like fuck. Dude.
Yeah, fuck that. You're not going to be coming up short too much,
but you learn, you get comfortable with it, and like that's like my buddies will always say, we'll hit a new track, get familiar with that one, but they love going back to like Kahia and Paula and like Paris, for instance. Those three in general, just because they're so familiar with the layout and they're getting so good at it. They learn all the different lines, and you can hit the jumps in different ways and take the turns in different ways, and and it's crazy. You can always, and they have multiple tracks at all the places, so. All the skill levels, you can always push yourself to the max.
I mean, and as far as the track goes, I mean, compared to like riding out just out in the wild, like outdoor, like my sister used to and still does ride behind our house right back here. There's a trail back here, and
she rides like dirt bikes or like bikes?
Well, dirt bikes, yeah.
Yeah.
Right off here by the freeway, just right when you go in the southbound, right there. There's a big open field. Like there's a lot of open trails out there to where she would always just ride her bike out there, ride the motorcycle. But
I would imagine there's trails for days, around here, everywhere.
And to where it's definitely when you have different conditions of like here in SoCal, you definitely have a little bit more consistent with more drier weather. You're not having fucking too much like mudded out days and just like to where it's super wet out there and getting blown out. Compared to like the East Coast or even a little bit north, like you watch guys like when they're doing Supercross or majority like nationals when they're outdoors. I mean, even indoors when you're watching the Supercross, those guys, the tracks get fucking blown out. I mean, with how wet they are naturally. To that, how is it like? Do you generally prefer a drier, lighter like conditions? Do you like it when it's a little bit more wet, like something that you can dig into more and see the line you just were on, or?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I like to get used to all the different kind of terrain sort of thing, but, kind of like it when it's kind of, not too hard, not too soft, right in between, they water it right, but it's cool, like, to do all the different, hard pack, soft pack in the mud, and then you get used to it, because you go out to the trail riding, we'll do a lot of trail riding and stuff, and you never know what you come across, so it's good to hit it all, and it's good to kind of just be used to whatever, And we just kind of get it down. Like, riding in the back fields is what we did growing up all the time. And that's where you learn the ruts and the hard pack, and then
that's when you fucking hit some hard shit to
and
where
then you got riding the rain, you feel all the mud and all that shit too. So yeah, it's cool, man.
do the tracks, like you said, Paula and Paris, are they restricted as far as water goes? Because just like a golf course, they have a lot of golf courses have regulations as far as how much water, and
Sure.
we have a pretty good deal as far as like using recycled water through the city, but some golf courses don't have that luxury of having deals like that.
Yeah, I think all these places basically they have their own wells, because they'll get their big water trucks and they're just driving those around the side of the track and they're just spraying it as they go. So I think that's a big key for them. And it's clutch, or else it'd be just dusty. The track would just be destroyed. And oh my god, yeah, it makes it. You get the grip. So
There have been a lot of people riding nowadays. The fact that fucking people
everything opened up recently. So Kahia, that's like our number one spot where we're going up in Anza. That's like my favorite spot by far. Love the vet track, getting familiar with the main a little bit, but yeah, it's a fun place. And then their trails up there, they for miles and miles. It's fun.
Were they? How long? Why were they? I mean, motocross definitely seems like an activity, or riding dirt bike seems like an activity that is social distancing in its nature, to where you're on your own bike. You really aren't ever on a bike with somebody else.
Exactly.
Unless you're like going like from track to track. But even then, if that person's somebody that's watching or with your party, then you're not breaking any kind of like violation, like kind of like how restaurants are. You have to sit with your table or have
and if you're not eating, put a mask on, sort of thing.
Yeah, to where obviously fucking the helmet itself is a pretty sufficient blocker for. I mean,
and like you said, you're outdoors. We're everyone's pretty. They keep their distance. Nobody's doubling up on bikes. So, and then once you're on the track, everyone's spread out.
Trucks are everybody's fucking spread out already. I mean, to where it's not like a big. Like, unless it's a race day or something like that, which is understandable if they're going to have scheduled races or any kind of big sporting events, to where they know a large number of people could and definitely will be stood up on top of each other. When you have a starting block of fucking 20 people, they're not like they were social distance them. I mean, you'd have to have a huge fucking like supercross or national style like racing like starting block, to where most places, I mean, Paula, do those places have like a place like that? Like a
right now, kind of, because everybody hangs out on the sides of the track, kind of does like a tailgate kind of set up, to unload, and then they hang out, set up a little camp. So everyone is really close there, and like the tracks all just opened up maybe a couple months ago at the most. And they were in the beginning, the first month, they were asking everyone to wear masks when they're hanging out, sort of thing, But when they go riding, what can they do?
I mean, were they like patrolling the?
They would go around. They were asking to put the masks on, and they were watching and stuff like that. So.
Well, and not that they are trying to like really shut them down, but I feel like moto tracks are always in more scrutiny. Just like how if you had a bar that was close to a neighborhood and they were just blasting music all night long.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Obviously, the neighborhood and people surrounding businesses would have somewhat of a complaint or comment to say about it.
Very understandable.
That's why the track in Elsinore. I mean, are they back open or?
They're back open. I haven't ridden that one. My buddies kind of prefer the other place, Kahia and Paula mostly. And then they go up to Glen Helen a lot too. That's a track. That one's ridiculous. That one's
with the big ass fucking hill.
The big downhills,
Jesus.
dude. Those are insane.
Yeah, I was telling you that one time how
I'm on a 252 stroke, so it's just, dude, it's so gnarly going down those hills, and just I'll put it in like fourth and just. Yeah, open it up.
Dude, those just seeing everybody like come over the top of that hill is fucking nuts. Those hills that they have there are just so steep. Like, I'm so shocked that like and people probably do like end up like flipping back, like if they're like going a little bit too fast and their weight is too far back on the bike.
Yeah, easy. Especially like if you're on a 252 stroke 450, that's easy to do.
Have you had any?
And I'm not like a pro rider by any means. The guys I ride with though. They were level A's when they were racing, so that's like pro level basically, just waiting to get sponsorships. Most of them though, just too many injuries at this point, so they're just riding for fun, unfortunately. But they have the skills, and it's insane, and it's so rad how humble they are. And it's so cool because I met all these guys because I built a pit bike track. It was actually originally a BMX track in my front yard.
What?
So I used about a quarter acre just to build crazy BMX doubles all day long. if you look on my Instagram page, like on the front, it was just like there's a couple shots of just a little bit of it. It was just BMX jumps, and then one day some of the guys came over and we were hitting them on pit bikes. And then we had the rain season just recently, and a lot of the jumps got destroyed. And we're like, dude, let's bring a tractor in. Let's do a real pit bike track. And so we did it official, man. And so we tore it up. It's got a good little design. We got some good hits on there, and so they would always come over and ride, and I'm seeing the skills, and I'm recognizing, you know, like, damn, these guys are good riders, you know, and I'm talking to them more and more, and I'm you know, getting to know, like, yeah, they ride big bikes, starting to know what kind of bikes they ride, and then now we're going out to the tracks, and I'm riding with them, dude, and then I'm seeing, like, holy shit, like, I couldn't believe that they wouldn't be talking about their skills the months and months before that we're talking about this. Like, none of them boasted or bragged about it. Like, and they're all on the main, hitting every single jump that's out there, like, with nothing, and just smiling, having fun about it. And, like, the cool thing about riding with this group has been, like, none of them push you to be like, you got to hit this, or you're a pussy if you don't, like, hit this, you know what I mean? It's all about, dude, just have fun, just fucking, we got skill levels of all different skill levels in the group, you know, and it's just about being together, having fun, riding, and then everybody's just getting better and better because of that, you know?
Yeah, you get better by association, to where obviously you're not trying to pursue a career in racing or anything.
Oh, yeah,
but
no,
you
exactly.
definitely can appreciate and see, like, oh shit, like, he's taking this line, or he's hitting it a little, like, in this gear a little bit harder, to where you can take that, obviously, like, if they're trying to cut down seconds in a race, to where that's why they're doing it. I mean, you're just trying to have fun and a good time out there, to where you're not trying to kill yourself, which
Exactly.
it is a big is a big variable with riding motocross, because how
The
dangerous
way
of a sport it is.
yeah,
To where,
the size of the hits they're hitting and the speeds they're going nowadays, dude, it's insane, dude.
yeah, and that's why it's definitely good that they're not pushing you to a point that you're uncomfortable.
For sure.
I've always felt that with snowboarding, because a lot of other sports like basketball and just any sport is, obviously you have a comfortability level that you, like, oh, I don't feel comfortable enough to play an actual pickup game, but I'll play horse, you know. But I mean, but when you take it to a sport, like a more extreme sport like snowboarding, and somebody's like, oh, fucking, you better hit this fucking jump, pussy, and I'm like, no, like, I've just had fucking 10 beers right now, and fucking,
Not trying to break my collarbone.
yeah,
man.
I'm just trying to make it down this
fun.
mountain, fucking enjoying myself, make it back to the cabin after this. To where,
Exactly.
same thing with moto, you know, like, obviously, like, I want to fucking hit shit and get my fucking blood pumping, and that's what the whole, like, thing is with riding. It's like, it's such an experience of, like, machine and the human body, of being able to trust that and be able to, like, push it to such a level that you're flying and going at such high speeds. It's crazy to think that people, like, do that for fun, and are willing to, like you said, go to like, have people like pushing you and at least helping you get better while they're professional riders and pursuing a career in it. It's
Totally. And it's so hard because, like, dude, it can be so intimidating riding with these guys, you know, but they make it so cool. Like, they'll ride with me at my levels and be like, hey, do this next time and do that next time. Or they're like, whoa, dude, like, I can't believe you were able to do that on that. I'm like, dude, that's cool, you know, coming from them. And they'll get videos of me. I'm like, whoa, they were filming me and showing me, like, tips, like, hey, just lean this way, or, you know, gas it here, let off there. And it's like, it works. Like, I literally bought my bikes in the beginning for trail riding, taking it down to, like, out in the deserts, down to Mexico. I didn't think I was going to get on the tracks, you know, and then sure enough, just riding with these guys, now I'm on the tracks. And I'm like, first getting on the tracks, I'm like, well, I don't even want to jump these jumps. They're insane. They're crazy. Like, I'm just having fun riding around, rolling them, landing flat top. And now I'm jumping the jumps. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, and it's such a thrill. And you deal with so much emotions and so much fear and adrenaline, and it's just so much fun and rewarding at the same time. There's nothing like it. Like, it's my ultimate therapy, you know, because I'm literally working 7 days a week, minimum
grinding.
15 hours a day right now. And I love it. It's pure passion, but it beats the hell out of me, dude. Like, I mean, it drains me, bro. It's hard sometimes because I'm constantly just pulled in so many different directions, you know, which is a part of the business, part of running it, you know, and then getting good help has been really hard through the coronavirus. business blew up for us to another level, bro. And I can imagine there's so many deliveries and so many shops were in the same position because when everything got shut down, even shops were allowed to stay open. They were deemed necessary,
essential,
for medical purposes. And it's so true. I can't tell you how many of our clients, bro, if you met them, dude, you would trip out. But like you'd just be like, dude, wouldn't even picture you as a smoker. You know,
100%. There's like a lot of, and that's why so many people are business. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
so
not
many
at
people
all.
You don't
Please.
expect are. I mean, they're smokers to where it's more of a medicinal purpose, and I full-heartedly feel in that sense.
Oh, and they're so well established. They've been so successful, and they still are, and they're very responsible. And I can't tell you how many of them are using it for medical reasons or just for quality of life in general, replacing it from they were hard drinkers before or just stress and whatever and just enjoying life again. But I honestly have had so many of our clients coming up to us with different bottles of pills. I mean, multiple pills and like in tears, like, thank you so much. We literally can throw this shit away. We literally do not use this because of edibles and just because of THC and just smoking some bud, a whole new quality of life. And that's exactly why I got into it from the beginning. I grew up ADD. So of course parents had me on all the different ADD pills. Hated them from the time I was 12 to 15. I was in zombie mode. I was not myself. They were having to increase my doses, and I'm just like getting to the point where I'm spitting the pills out, not being able to take them because the come down effect was a nightmare. And just while I'm on it, I'm like, what the hell? This is not me. And it's like I'm laser focused on everything. And yeah, I'm doing good in school, and I can talk to people and have conversations normally, and I'm calm, you know, and but it wasn't me. And then once it would wear off, I'm getting literally sick. And like, oh, I would have to take the pills to get back to that. And it wasn't me, though. And it would put me back to what wasn't me, you know? And, oh, it was weird. So then I was 15, and I smoked my first joint. And I literally was like, whoa, dude, I didn't take my pills for, I remember it was like a week because I was so sick. And I was just so sick of them. And I just took a rip, dude. And I instantly was like, whoa. All the sickness, all the anxiety, everything was gone, bro. And I just had the best night like of my life. And I was just chill. And that was cool. That was a group of friends that just, they're the reason. Yeah, they always had my back, kept me away from any other hard drugs. Well, I didn't want to in general because I never trusted it ever since the ADD pills and all that stuff. So, but then, yeah, dude, it was just weed. And so that's when I got into figuring out, dude, it's expensive. I'm going to have to figure out how to afford it, you know? And I started selling it when I was 16 is when I started to get into it, you know?
Just a year later? I mean, just from the first time you smoked?
Yeah, from the first time I smoked, it was a year later. I was like, dude, I love this shit. Like, this is me. And, you know, and I met all the local dealers. And that was cool because that was the days of you go to the homie's house and he was a dealer, you know, like, yeah, because he would sell everything, bro. Like, those dealers, you know, like each town had 4 or 5 that were legit, dude. I'm sure you know how that was back in the day. It was always like that. Everyone had the fucking spot, you know?
Well, and that's why it's definitely great how now you have an accredited business that you know is legit to where it's definitely was sketchy. I mean, obviously you had like your sibling's friend or somebody that they trusted, but at what point do you know exactly what you're getting and how you're getting, like where, like how far down the line it's like how many hands it touched and what's gone into it.
Yeah.
Even just the growing process. It's great. It's crazy to see now how big of a process and industry it's become and how much people care to it and
totally.
How it's improved the quality and to where it's definitely, I mean, how do you feel that's affected it?
Dude, I love what you were just saying right now because that's 100% true because I'll look back at the days and I'll talk to my buddies all the time about like, dude, you remember the edibles we used to eat and like the kind of weed we used to smoke? Like if you were in the high school days to, you know, just out of high school, you know, that's back in like the early 2000s, you know, like 2000 to 2003. You know, it was whatever. It was dirt weed. It was shit. The edibles were made in some dude's fucking thing with still weed leaves in it, like done shit up, and nobody cared. All the weed was outdoor. If you're lucky, you'd get like greenhouse, but you're stoked, you know, because that was selling, and it was still expensive as shit even then. But I look back at it now and I'm like, dude, because I remember the first time when medical really came out, and it was about 2005. And I literally got my first like real medical kush and real medical experience up in Venice Beach, dude, right off of Muscle Beach, dude. It was like the kush, I don't know, Venice Beach kush or some shit. It was a huge spot, dude, like one of the most popular ones. Most expensive eighth I've ever bought in my life.
How much was it?
It was $75, dude. At the time, I was like, "What the fuck, 75?" But dude, I remember when fucking the bud tender showed me the bud, and like I smelled it, and I was like, whoa, dude, that's like nothing I've smelt before, dude.
Whole
I was
nother
like, dude, I
level.
got to do it. So I did it. And then I took the first rip. They would let you smoke there too. That was a cool thing in the Venice Beach medical shop, dude. You'd go, right to the front of the kind of the bud tending room, and there was like a little lounge and a big glass window that overlooked Muscle Beach and all of Venice Beach, and you could fucking take bong loads right there. You could take your edibles. Like, they were cool about it like that. It was bad. There was even that was where we got our medical recommendations, because there's a doctor right next door, and he was the one that would give you out the license, write you up, and you go right next door.
Right next door.
Yeah, literally right next door. You'd have the person flipping signs, and that was a big trip to us, dude. It was like, what the fuck? We're all so underground, and we're finally seeing this. Like, it was like a dream come true. Like, this is where it's going, fellas. Like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, this is badass. And we were just smokers really at the time. Like,
yeah.
I was only selling at that time just to be able to kind of fill my own habit. I had my daughter when I was 21. I kind of laid low, but I continued to sell just little bits just so I could kind of smoke for free. And then it was just, yeah, but then, I'll get back to it. It was, we finally saw the sign flipping stuff, and we saw where the business was going. It was ridiculous. I had my first experience, and then from then on, yeah, dude, we would see the difference of quality. We're seeing like how good edibles are, and seeing how good all the weed was, like, and you start to learn more and more of the science behind what they're doing, how they're doing it, and you're like, damn, dude, this is a whole new level. Like, this is where it's going, and no more, going to the homie's house and getting offered all the shit in the world. Just now you go to a fucking collective, and it's just weed and weed products that are fucking some of the dankest and best you've ever seen in your life. So I was loving it. And then I'm all, this is like all happening in 2005, and I'm just still small time, just kind of just doing my thing. I had my daughter, not long before that. So but I'm really wanting to get back in the business. And sure enough, 2007 comes along, the economy tanks. And I was working for a dude that was here at Bear Creek. I don't know if you know Alan Hakes. It was Hakes Sash and Door. And he lives right here, but I was working for him forever. And economy tanked. We were out of the job. Sure enough, some of my buddies and the VP of the company, dude, we started up our own collective in Moreno Valley. And they brought me in as just a bud tender, and I worked my way up to managing that spot. But it was the full experience finally. Like, dude, we had a fully licensed shop in Moreno Valley. It was booming. Like, I've never seen that kind of weed business like that, and learning of all the different products. And that's when, like, waxes were coming out and all these new shit was coming out that we're learning about, and so it was pretty crazy, dude. It was a big boom, and then everything gets shut down, and then everything opens up again and shuts down. But that's just kind of the wave of the business.
Well, and it's great how it's definitely advanced, even just from 2005. The business itself, but
huge.
The quality of product, it's crazy. Just like cell phones, how they have advanced from
so rapidly.
I mean, even how basic a flip phone was to even like longer ago. It was, you had like people would like the first, like you could had like a phone in your car. That was a thing.
Fucking like one of those big things. Or like, dude, what was it? Did you ever have a Nextel, the walkie-talkie?
The beep beep. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had my dad. He was an architect, and he always was on construction. Like, he always dealt with construction people, and they always had Nextel or Sprint, or they always had the walkie-talkie.
Shit if you had one, dude.
Oh yeah. And when
dude.
my very first phone had the little walkie-talkie thing on it, he made sure I had that walkie-talkie, and I loved it. When they had the iPhone, I was like, fuck, they need some sort of like walkie-talkie app, to where you can get on the same frequency and just like, I mean, that's probably similar to what Snapchat is in a sense, to where there definitely is just like in a frequency of our chat or our text thread is essentially our frequency. Not comparing it. I mean, it's definitely more advanced than how walkie-talkie was. I mean, it probably is very similar on how, I don't know how coding or any of that fucking shit works, to where it probably is just basically electrical signals and like ones and zeros and ones, to where it ends just relaying itself as how it ends up flying as a signal, as a walkie-talkie signal. It's coming in as that same signal through here. But it's crazy to think that advancing through just, say, 30, 40 years has come, like you said, 15 years, the business of it has crazy boomed. And
oh yeah, and that's all thanks to the regulations and laws changing, and all the awesome people that have gotten into the industry. Like, how many people have jumped on board and started to see all the positives, and it is really a positive thing. There's way more positive to it, the effects, and even alcohol, not saying anything bad about alcohol whatsoever.
Piece of shit right here, just drinking alcohol over here.
No, not at all, man.
Get the shit out of here.
No, I'm just saying, but it's just one of those those things. And so, yeah, that helped speed up things to get the industry to where it is today, too, which I love it, man. And I'm focused on where it's going from here. I am so excited, like, especially once the U.S. reschedules marijuana from a Schedule 1 to hopefully a Schedule 3. Dude, we're legit. Oh, my God. That's an international game changer right there. Everyone's going to be on board. I mean, look how many countries jumped on board just from us legalizing it in, the way that we have so far in America.
Well, and what is say even tobacco? Is tobacco even a scheduled like drug? Is even on that like Schedule 3, Schedule 5? Is it?
It's got to be somewhere in there. Nicotine has to be somewhere on there.
I was just gonna say because there's got to be
some of those gummy bears too. Dude.
I know we're. And shout out to what's your business's name? What's the
Yeah, we got Green Tree Delivery, North County, San Diego.
Down there in Fallbrook?
Yeah, started that one in 2009. Started Green Tree. Before that, I've been, and we've had multiple shops in between that time too. The most recent one was in Temecula. Dude, oh my God, that was so amazing. Did you see that spot before I came in there, before I got ownership? I got co-ownership of that place?
Not, I'm not too sure. I think I might have been there afterwards because I think I remember that's when shit kind of started booming. And
yeah, dude, it was
up.
crazy though because like when I first had the opportunity to get on that shop, I was half in, half out. I saw the numbers, I saw the amount of product, I saw the way it was being run. My partner, he wasn't a smoker himself, so the quality was like, dude, way back in the day stuff. And I knew there was a long way to go, and I knew we had a time limit because the city was only gonna honor our permits and all of our licenses for a certain amount of time. So I knew I only had like 6-7 months to actually do something before they were gonna come in and do anything, And sure enough, they did. But within that time, turned the place around. Oh my God, tremendously, dude. It was insane, bro. Like when I first came in, I'm like, dude, I don't know if I even want to get in on this because my delivery's making way more, to be honest with you, And it was just like, this is like the overhead and the amount that it was pulling in and the time limit we had and the amount that I had to buy in for. I'm just like, dude, I didn't know, but everything in my gut told me I had to do it, and everything in my gut told me that I could do it. I'd go to every other shop in Temecula and every other spot around, and I'm looking at what's going on and getting the customer service vibe. I'm buying their products to see what they got and how they're doing it, and just everything was telling me to do it, and I did. And sure enough, bro, it was ridiculous. We have awesome charts the way it was set up. Indica Online was like our main kind of accounting system. It was like our inventory system. It was our whole computer diagnostics. Like it kept everything on track. It'd give us graphs of our sales. It'd show us every little thing to a T. It was awesome, bro. Like that was a key for us. But I mean, the graphs, I loved it. They're just going up and up and up every month, and it was just kept just doubling to tripling, and we were killing it, man. I was so stoked. I just put my all into it, and the budget was like nothing in the beginning, and then we were no problem. We were doing good.
It's definitely cool to see when you join in something at the ground level or when it's at a low point to where you can, not that they're putting the pressure on you to turn it around, but you see that the amount of effort that you put into it, as little as it is or as much as it is, can be such a positive of like whether that's you are able to translate that over into writing, like, oh fuck, like I'm able to come in and take this. Not that the business was failing by any means, but you can come in and take this down situation and find a positive out of it, let alone keep on going. And it's continuing
with tons of pressure. You have, not to mention you're buying in, and you're putting everything on the line. Like I put everything I had, like everything I had saved up. I knew if it didn't work out, I'm not gonna be able to afford my mortgage or car payments, bro. Like I put myself in a hole. I'm not gonna be able to get my delivery going. I took everything out of that just to be able to get the buy-in too. So I was scared. I was definitely nervous. Especially the first month, I was a little nervous, but then it was so funny. Like by the second month, I was like, dude, no, we got this. I got this, bro. And like I just would come up with these ideas every day, and it was, my partner, he wasn't able to really work it. He was never there, and even the whole time when he had it, he was never there. He just had employees running it who just were there for the job, and they're cool. They were good dudes. They just, they didn't have the passion. They weren't trying to grow it. They weren't,
When you're there for it's different for a job and a career. Obviously, when you're investing, that's one thing.
Yeah,
it's a part of what you're trying to do with your livelihood. But when you're just coming in, clocking in and out, it's definitely your investment into it is very minimal, if at all. It's very similar to
And the risk.
yeah. If you're a tenant, if you rent versus owning a house, like you said, your mortgage, like the fact that that's something that you have to, it's constantly in the back of your head
Oh,
to
dude.
where people that are renters, they're fucking like, oh fuck, I broke the light. Oh well, it fell,
Landlord.
and it's landlord's fault. It's under the fucking to where it's
Yeah,
definitely
I'm
a
like,
different
damn it.
mindset.
I'm
in
like,
how
turn the
you-
lights off, dude. I'm like, dude, watch out with stuff like that.
Yeah,
know?
to where you have a better appreciation for a lot of things, to where you definitely can carry that over to where, and it comes with maturity and time, and
For
like you
sure.
said, I mean,
For sure.
it's not like this is your first time starting off in this industry. You've been grinding for a long time
grinding to
like
get to
now.
this point. Oh my god! So like back in 2007 and 8, I literally the economy tanked. I'm out of a job, collecting unemployment. I had this kind of going part time, as far as the marijuana business going and all, but nothing as far as no licenses, no good connections, no money to get anything real going, and that was funny because when I had to start my business back then, I literally was able to afford maybe a couple ounces and a month on weed maps and some supplies, some business supplies. And that's it, dude. I mean, I was scraping together with unemployment checks and I had to fake it to make it. Like even on my weed maps menu, I hate to say it, but I did have to fake it and add a bunch of stuff that maybe not have been there because I only had a couple things. But dude, within a couple months, it was actually working because I kept flipping those flowers. I'm like, dude, all I did was invest in product. I would pull out maybe a couple dollars for gas and food, and that's about it, and the rest of the time my unemployment checks were paying the bills. So that was cool. And then, just kept investing, and sure enough, it built, and I kept seeing the success, and it was tough, dude, because I saw how low of a level I was on. I saw the odds against me, bro, to actually make a living, to provide for my family. And to be honest, I just needed to make money. I didn't think it would ever get to this point. I truly didn't know it would get here. I put my all into it, of course, hoping. I want to be that big man. Dude, I wanted to have those businesses. I want to be able to get, the house and cars and all that. But I was like, I don't care if I do or not. And it doesn't matter about that doesn't mean shit to me, honestly. I think it's about how I get it and how I take care of it and what I do with it, sort of thing.
I mean, your values change throughout it. So like you said, when you started off, it definitely was, you're just trying to cover it enough to where you can have enough to smoke, have stuff for you to smoke. To where now, then you were worried about having enough to take care of your kid. And then you're worried about taking care of the mortgage, to where then, obviously, it doesn't seem on such a grand, like on how you deal with it and are able to handle it is definitely... like if somebody else, like you said, like how I was saying earlier, starts off into it, can be cumbersome and really get burnt out on it and really like say fuck this, and it's easier to just walk away from it and start something new than it is to really persevere and keep your head down and keep grinding on it, to where
100%.
It's something that obviously you're seeing right now with how it's deemed essential and how people are still, I mean, you'd think with it being a respiratory thing, this whole COVID-19 and whatnot, to where that would be one thing that people are, and that was one thing that I definitely took into consideration in the very beginning, to where I had slowed down my intake on smoking. I mean, to where it's anything that you're putting into your body is outside of the normal is going to is going to be, I feel, negative in a way, because it's whether it's something that again is positive, because I feel it's medical for myself is medical, and for so many other people it is, but at the same time it can be detrimental to
like especially because coronavirus could be a respiratory illness. You don't want to, like, you want to increase your immune system, get more sleep, get vitamin C, whatever you can do, probably not smoke as much, and that's smart. That's just, yeah.
And having the different options, to where back in the 70s, there probably weren't, many, if at all, options as far as edibles or concentrates, to where.
For sure. I wondered that same thing too, as far as when coronavirus hit, I didn't know how, like, dude, what that was going to do for our business. I really didn't. When it first came, I was like, dude, are we going to be slowing down? Are people going to be worried about smoking and this and that? We got busier than fuck, bro. Like, it was insane. To this day, like, we were busy before. Delivery was slamming. I was stoked. And then this came, and I was nervous. I was like, well, we'll see. We'll ride it out. But sure enough, dude, I mean, the industry just took off. Like, I guarantee shops delivery is just going crazy. I mean, the price of pounds has gone up, what, 25-30% just in the last 3-4 months. It's like ridiculous prices again. Like you're seeing big time increases, but it makes sense. And it's hard for us to even get it all the time. Everyone's stocking up. Even so, like from our vendors, we're stocking up all the deliveries and all the shops. And then all of our customers have been stocking up like it's going out of business. They were stocking up on it like toilet paper and fucking paper towels, bro. Like every one of our customers would be buying way more amounts because they're all like, so many of the common stories were like, dude, we just don't want to run out, or we don't know if you're going to shut down or have to close. So we just want to stock up.
It's just like the toilet paper where everybody's freaking out, and that's why it's great for business. I mean, you're not complaining by any means, and
I'm just trying to stay awake and maintain.
I'm trying to pay the bills right now, and if anybody wants to fucking keep giving me money, might as well. Fuck, I mean that's the case. My daughter's fucking eating steak every night, fucking, and that's where it's definitely good to see that. With all this going on, you're able to keep on succeeding and keep pushing forward, because because a lot of times people businesses, small businesses
it's tough.
It's tough right
tough
now
out there.
I mean, a lot of them aren't getting any kind of like government aid or anything. I mean,
sure.
You guys probably weren't at all.
Not at all. And the tax brackets we're in a ridiculous tax bracket, dude. For retail, we're at 54%. My buddies in the wholesale are getting hit with 22 to 24%, right? Or I'm sorry, they're at 27%. We're at 54% tax.
How does that work as far as like, because you guys, that's why it's such a weird area is like as far as being a medicine, like how, like,
or recreational.
I'd love to see or know how like pharmacies or people or businesses that are underneath that bracket of like, oh, I'm a chiropractor, do they get like special like medical tax bracket?
There's definitely lots of different write-offs and things like that for sure. And it sucks because we have no write-offs. We get nothing. Plus, I mean, every usual business is in what, a 12% tax area, somewhere right there to 20.
I have no idea.
It's like somewhere right there. And dude, they got us at double that amount. So it's insane.
Let alone you have to like, you're probably not getting any break from landlord on the business.
Oh no, they hike up. So yeah, so if you want to rent a place, the landlords know they can triple the price on you for sure.
Especially the fact that you guys are the one of the only
if
places
you have a license.
open.
Yeah, especially if you have a license. But I mean, the way to go about it, the best way is, because to pay taxes, for instance, we got to be buying blockchain. That's the only way that they can legally accept our money. So like, have you heard of Bitcoin? Mm-hmm. So like a blockchain would be more of a secure way because there's actual like backing behind that.
It's like getting a loan.
Yeah, you actually like, so you buy in and you get like credits sort of thing. And then those credits can be used for whatever. It's not really money. It's like a Bitcoin. It's just a more advanced kind of Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. And so then we can actually pay California state, tax guys, and they can accept it through a blockchain payment. But we have to pay taxes on that, and there's a charge on that. But there's new rules and regulations that are now supposedly going to allow banks to accept the money from marijuana businesses. And once that happens, we can cut the blockchains out.
Are banks currently not allowed to?
They're not allowed to.
So you just got a fucking bunch of cash underneath your mattress right now?
You got to use blockchains. So
okay.
You have to use them for your banks. And then that's how they track the money and all that good stuff. But you're paying them transaction fees, your 2% every time you make a transaction fee and, stuff like that. So
yeah, and they're always going to be nickel and diming you to where if they were to be taxing and nickel and diming pharmaceuticals and prescription and other kind of medical fields, obviously, like, we're not trying to shut down or trying to control it to where businesses and like small time, like a chiropractor can't just start up his own shop or something. But at the same time, you want it to be fair enough to where it's so weird how it's, again, we were saying at the very beginning how it's a Schedule 1. It's Schedule 1 to where. Right now.
Which deemed no medical research, no medical value. That's crazy.
And there's so much research going on currently that it's crazy that a lot of that is going under a blind eye, and it's like, why the fuck is this not being under consideration? Like,
and once they reschedule it, watch the kind of research that goes into it. Like, all the companies are going to be able to take, THC, CBDs, and they'll really be able to dissect it. And really, that's when you'll see products take off to the next level again, and just quality and just customer service in general. You know, everything gets better and better. That's
And
what I love about this too.
I'm surprised that people and businesses haven't gotten into it just because of the resources just in hemp itself. I mean,
So many uses for it.
so many different uses, and just the fact that I mean, lumber and everything is, or I don't know how like the other kind of products you get outside of just the tobacco itself from the plant, but it's for them to cancel out the cannabis in general just because of the hemp
and
back
all
in the
the
day.
resources they could use. I mean, what they made paper, they made ropes. I mean, list goes on.
And that's why. Why would they not want to say get it in on the ground level? And they probably are. You probably have your Coca-Cola and your Chevrolet in the weed world to where
already you got big companies already in the weed game.
And that's why it's definitely going to be hard to compete with those guys.
What was the latest? I think Carl's Jr. has a CBD burger now.
What?
Yeah, Carl's Jr. I believe it is. They have a CBD burger they were offering. And so watch, it's just
that is fucking nuts, dude. Like I'm
gonna check that.
That is crazy because it's cool that's going to be part of the social norm. That definitely the research has gotten to a point that CBD is allowed and is definitely an acceptable part of society, because a lot of people they hear it's a part of a weed product.
Yeah,
Carl's
definitely.
Jr. is rolling out a CBD burger, but don't get your hypes to get high. Wow. And that's the thing. It's like so many people, it's that stigma of, oh, it's from a pot plant or from fucking hemp or whatever the case may be. I'm going to get high. And they just discredit it just right off the bat. And
for sure.
To where there's so many medicinal properties and that it can benefit people that don't even want to give it that shot. And
it's such a game changer, dude. I'm telling, like, firsthand experience from ADD to broken bones and pain. I to this day won't take painkillers. I've broken my hand, my wrist, I've multiple bones. Every time I've ever done that, dude, I've never taken the painkillers. I throw those away. I literally just smoke weed or take a lot more edibles, dude, and it works. It gets me to a point where I can bear the pain at least.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good, dude.
I haven't in recent years had any kind of major injury that would say like, oh, I broke a bone, I'm gonna just use like THC as a painkiller. So like, but I've definitely have chronic pain, like say like knees. Fucking, you get fucking over the age of fucking 21, your fucking knees are cracking.
And you've been
every
active playing sports, doing all kinds of shit.
I mean,
bro,
between snowboarding and fucking even just as light as an activity golf is, dude. I mean, it's crazy on the joints.
My pop's
and everything.
back is fucked.
And dude, I mean, where he's been playing golf his entire life, and it's crazy that people are able to maintain their bodies to keep that wear and tear on those joints and muscles that when they don't have any kind of, like, you're not taking your body to a mechanic getting an oil change, to where if you're not putting any kind of preventative maintenance in that, and I don't know the research on it as far as like CBD and everything, to where the like regenerative, like obviously like people are doing like stem cells and stuff, like if they have stuff that like they're trying to rebuild, like
for sure,
like not cartilage, rebuild anything really. I mean, stem cells are fucking doing crazy shit. I don't know jack shit about it. I ain't no fucking doctor, but it's still whatever is able to come about of a lot of things that people are that they don't even want to give the chance, to where the CBD burger, it's, you never know. What if that's going to be cause it cures your inflammation, or because CBD helps with inflammation and a few what else do you know the medicinal purposes as far as?
Tons of them right now. I was just actually Googling, because the U.S. government owns a patent on marijuana, and they've owned it for years and years and years. Patent number 6630507. The patent is the help of cannabis after a brain injury. So, I mean, they've had the governments have held that patent forever, and that's with THC.
Really?
Yeah,
that's a THC.
That's THC.
Huh.
That's the U.S. government's patent right there on marijuana.
And that's why, I mean,
years ago. That's been up, I mean, decades, and they've had that for a long time.
And people have been giving the Bill Gates and everybody shit about the whole coronavirus, or what is it? They had a patent, I think, on coronavirus, like, because
shit.
coronavirus is essentially like a flu, like
Sure.
it's a strain,
Sure.
it's a strain of a fucking of the flowers that we fucking pot,
Sure.
to where I think they essentially wanted not the patent, or at least for the vaccine on it, to where they could do the research on to be able to somewhat like find a cure for it, to where people are looking at that and like, oh well, that means they manufactured the coronavirus, so they have a bigger deal on it, which you can go in and speculate into a lot of things.
Sure.
To where I mean, it's almost like is your fucking guy watering down like your fucking drugs, to where you're not getting what you want. I mean, exactly what you get or ordered, and that happens with so many other things. To where
That's happening in the weed game right now with so many dealers. There's a lot of shady dealers out there that are still, like, I would classify them as drug dealers, and then you got a lot of straight up businessmen now that, you know, men and women who are just, they're killing it, and they are just straight up legit business. They are making sure their products are certified, they're clean, because their reputation is behind it, and they do care about their clients. Like, a lot of them have been on the other side too, like me, and dude, we've been on the customer side, you know, and we just definitely want to make sure that it's all on the up and up, like straight up business, you know, and it really is getting to that point, you know, and I love it, bro. It's amazing. Like, you go to like Vegas. I don't know if you have seen any of those
I've never
legal
been to
shops.
Vegas. Never been.
Dude,
to Vegas.
you got to go check out some of those shops, because they did it to the next world. Like, I love, dude, any of those shops. That just shows you the future of what's to come. Like, I can't wait till restaurants are serving you all THC infused shit, and then like literally you're going to the bar and they're serving you different bowls and bong loads and all kinds of shit, and you go to the shops, and yeah, it's gonna be everywhere. I can't wait. I believe it'll be just like alcohol everywhere, and served just like alcohol is, bro.
And that's why it's definitely it's up to the user and their responsibilities on what they can handle and tolerate. To where obviously, if people can be functioning alcoholics, they can be
100%.
they can go to
I know
work,
a bunch of them, and you'd never know it, and it's good for them.
Never know it.
You never know, and they're so successful. They're so responsible. It just works for them.
And that's why, I mean, there's so many people that are functioning stoners, to where obviously somebody that doesn't have any kind of tolerance, or their body, it's not beneficial for them. You know, you don't know their chemical breakdown, to where, yeah, weed is quote unquote good for you, or water is, or not water, but obviously water is good for you. But say somebody says alcohol is good for you, it's good for, it'll put fucking hair on your chest, but you don't know if that person has some sort of immune deficiency, and next thing you know, or they have a kidney failure or something, or liver failure, and then that puts them out. To where there's so many different variables that come into place, to where for them to just blackball THC and everything in general is such a harsh reality to come to, because it not just the business side of it, but
the product alone and the good that it does for it. Like, you know, like I was saying earlier about how many of our customers have come up to us with their pills, like in tears, like truly thanking us. Like, dude, we can throw these away, and we have a new quality of life. We're enjoying life. We're smiling. They're eating again, like, you know, and they're sleeping at night. That's huge, dude.
Yeah, and it's like, if it were to be the case that, like, I said it on a different podcast, on an earlier episode, that it's almost similar to, like, if a job is telling you that, like, you're not able to, like, use like a medication for yourself to put you on a level playing field as with the rest of the world.
Sure.
How is that any different from somebody that has prosthetic limbs, of saying, oh well, we have a policy that you're not allowed to have any prosthetic limbs, so fucking next thing you know, like, Lieutenant Dan can't fucking work at as behind the register or anything, even though he can physically do everything else with his legs.
Just as good, if not better.
Exactly. To where I 100% feel that I am a better person, and it helps me with my depression, anxiety, to where as far as like helping me with like as a medical purpose, but then as far as
me too,
advancing it to that next stage, to where it puts me like in that different mode, to where it helps me like think about things, break it down a little bit more. I mean, obviously I'm in my own head a little bit, but I've been able to
definitely
realize how that affects my life, and how I'm able to turn that into benefiting it. Just like if a functioning alcoholic didn't start off as they didn't start off the very first drink or shot, they weren't fucking
They were just getting the hang of it.
Yeah, so
but it worked with them.
Within
and they
time,
kept it at a certain level. They know their levels, they know their limits, and they're not just doing it all day long, just getting fucking plastered.
Yeah, it takes time, and everybody knows, should know, and I mean, it sucks to be able to see when people aren't able to control or even know their limits to where they end up. I mean, it's funny to say how, I mean, we're talking about marijuana and everything, but then like to how people relate it or say it's a gateway drug and everything, where in reality, I feel it's more so how that person is able to, anything can be a gateway drug.
Absolutely.
To where, I mean, if you're looking at stats on it, yes, people generally like start off with marijuana because it's the most accessible and easier one that you're not going to have a fucking crazy panic attack or your body isn't literally going to kill it. You're not going to die on it.
Definitely.
To where the worst you're going to get is the fucking munchies or just have a fucking great nap.
For sure.
Rather than
something hard.
It's easier to deal with as your very first thing ever. To where that's why it's almost easier than tobacco. It's easier than smoking a cigarette. I feel like because I've never been big into tobacco or nicotine. I definitely will hit a Juul or something, or I'll smoke a cigarette if I'm drunk enough, or fucking everybody else is, But I definitely try to stay away from it to where I don't feel I'm able to handle it in that way.
For sure. And I like to do it to where it's like I'm not doing it to hide from anything or to like, to just to ignore anything. I use it just as a positive, like I feel like I've been in a good state before I used it, before I used marijuana, and then it just helped me calm down, and I've only seen positive with it, and I think alcohol can be the same way for people if they they just kind of,
well, and that's why if they were able to, if not that they have to hide it, but they're able to say have like a prescription or like let it be known that, hey, I'm a functioning alcoholic, like it's okay that I'm here at work drunk or under the influence.
Yeah, just a little bit of a buzz. Just helps them going, lightens the mood for them. It's not causing any problems. They're not getting DUIs.
Exactly.
It's not hindering their ability to do anything. And it's just giving them a better quality of life. They're enjoying it again, and if they're doing it to cover up like a depression or problem, and then they're just hiding it all the time, then it could lead to bigger problems if they just keep hiding it and not dealing with those problems. Like if they use that to cover the problem, but if they're just doing it, give them that just a little bit of the edge off, enjoying it a little bit, and why not, man? Puts a little smile on their face.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you don't want your Uber driver sitting like drinking.
Yeah, you don't want him drinking
drunk.
I want him relaxed. I want him chilling.
Exactly.
I don't want him all tensed up and fucking anxious.
If that takes him like having a shot before he starts his shift,
I'd be fine with that as
long
as he's not drunk.
And that's why there's so many different regulations to where. Obviously, right now with this climate we're in, with police, going on right now. I mean, there's going to be somewhat of a reform that's eventually going to happen. To where, obviously, if that's something that they try to disassociate, like the violence out of it, like, hey, like this is a non-violent situation. Let's send somebody that's not a police officer. Rogan's been talking about this, and I'm not trying to like bring up all the topics and just be another Rogan podcast, but it's definitely like if it's a non-violent situation or something that doesn't need the force, then why have that be our first response?
Definitely,
it's great to be able to have. And I'm not discrediting any kind of our first responders because I have so many friends that are first responders, whether they're police officers, ambulance, firefighters. That's the word, fire officers. To where it's definitely a needed part, and I've said it before that I honestly think it should be a required duty. Similar to like, there's other countries in the world that have like, I think England is one that has one where it's like you have a 2-year military requirement. I think Korea has that, and like a lot of other countries have like you have 2 years minimum required of serving in the military.
Yeah,
to where it seems extreme to just be the military. To where say you have 2 years from 18 to 30. But you have to work.
Just at some point, you got
to work as a police officer, a firefighter, or a first responder, work in the medical field, or like public service or something like that. Some like 5 or 6 options to where I mean, it would give a lot of people that don't have any kind of direction and drive in their life some sort of option that they, I mean, not that they have to be forced into a job, but it gives them the opportunity to find something they're passionate about.
Oh yeah,
Similar
definitely.
to
And that's
you
a great
hitting
life experience getting into something like that. Oh
Yeah.
my God, brings you up to a next level for sure. You got to be at a certain maturity level. You got to be responsible. It comes with a lot of weight with that one. And yeah, quite the experience, dude.
But yeah, fucking, it's a crazy experience to deal with all that, but it's a crazy experience to fucking have you here, brother. And I think
Dude.
with that note, I think we're fucking stoned out doing fucking another. We're on Mars level right now.
Yeah,
I
dude. Oh
fucking-
my God,
I
I'm feeling
just-
the gummies kicking in.
It just
We started off with the
both
joint.
Just got hit in the face right now.
I think
by
so,
that fucking
dude.
bag of gummies.
I literally just felt it. I was just like, whoa, dude. I'm kind of feeling. I was like, dude, did I drink? Because when I feel the edibles, it totally hits me more like a kind of an alcohol buzz. It's not like a usual smoking buzz, but I like it.
Yeah,
you know?
and I've never with edibles has never been like a very instantaneous effect.
Yeah, I know.
But
it
it's
takes
very
time.
weird how when it's with somebody else, like if I eat edibles with somebody else, I feel like the experience is more connected. Like next thing you know, like whenever I eat edibles by myself, I don't feel them ever at all. But when I'm like with somebody else, like that person feels it, I feel it, and I'm like, whoa, like that's fucking sick because it's a feeling that I like, and which is a good feeling.
Yeah,
and this is a good
definitely,
podcast,
man.
so I
I'm
appreciate
so
you coming
stoked
on,
it.
dude.
Dude,
This is
anytime,
a
bro.
great fucking podcast, great recording. It's nowhere near the 2.5 hours as yesterday, but it fucking was, I think, fucking great content, dude. So thank you so much for fucking coming on, dude.
Dude, I
and,
appreciate it. Anytime,
definitely fucking we'll do it again, brother.
We'll set up another one, bro.
All right, brother, man. Thanks, buddy.
Fucking